Hello, and welcome to For Your Information, the Cutchogue New Suffolk Free Library podcast. I'm your host, Emma Layden, Emerging Technologies Librarian here at the Cutchogue New Suffolk Free Library. Thanks for joining us. Today, I'm joined by Cathleen Ficht and Christie Jones, two artists who were recently featured in the Library Gallery's Spring 2026 show, The Sweet Spot. Thank you both for joining me today. I was hoping you could give a brief introduction of yourselves, where you're from, what's your artistic background?
I'm Christie Jones. I have been a professional artist for over 15 years. I'm born and raised in Patchogue, Long Island, and I had started my career as a wedding calligrapher. So a lot of weddings out here on the North Fork, I did a variety of calligraphy for. And then right before the pandemic, transitioned into more fine art. So for the last 6 years, I've been making and creating all of my paintings with paints that I actually make from rocks and minerals. I'm also a student at Stony Brook University right now, finishing an undergrad degree after many years of not being in college. And that is how I met Cathleen.
All right, so I'm Cathleen Ficht. I don't even know how long I've been an artist. I'm blanking now. But I've kind of been through a journey of, I guess everybody knows if you're an artist, it's a journey. Got my, master's and then moved back to New York. I'm from Floral Park. I live in Long Beach. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I worked for Jeff Koons for a good 5 years and then kind of bopped around different places for art, did a few different artist residencies, and now I'm landed at teaching at Stony Brook University and St. Joseph's University. And that's, again, how I met Christie. So, yeah.
How did that get started?
Well, I guess we were in a show prior to being like professor and student, like the semester before. So we were in this exhibition called Artists for the Earth, and I had a bunch of oyster artwork, some of it that was here in the library, and just resonated with Kat's incredible drawings, and met her very briefly at the opening, but was a little shy and awkward. And so I just love your work. Bye. Found her on Instagram. And then I was signing up for classes and the name just was so familiar to me, and realized, oh my gosh, this is that person who did those incredible drawings. I'm going to be learning from her, and I'm more of a painter and a sculptor. So yes, I do draw, but not in a foundational course. So that's what drew me to continue to take the class with her and learn from her, because I just appreciated her eye and her actual art outside of a foundational form.
Yeah. Well, that whole, how that all kind of got together. I was like, this is so weird. But when I met you, you're like, I'm not a drawer. And I was like, well, you got to start somewhere. But I very much beg to differ. You're very much a drawer, beautiful drawer. But as the semester went on, I just learned a lot more about her and what she was doing. And she was also currently doing a residency at ComSet State Park, which surprisingly I'm doing it right now.
Yes.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Parallel lives in a way.
Totally.
So I was seeing a lot of the work that she was making at ComSet, as well as the artwork she was making in my class, which is, again, foundations drawing. So you have to do just the basic still lives and learning the materials and things that you hate and also love, but also hate and curse me for. So, but there was a point I was a lot of similarities between my artwork and her artwork, even though, hers is a little bit more abstract, but the textures were very similar and the movement and everything. And just the way that she had water moving and working with her paper and kind of creating her artwork was that resonated with me a lot. So I was just well, it'd be great after the semester's over.
Yeah. So literally the last day of class, she's like, so I've been waiting to ask you this question.
I was like, do you want to do a show together if we have a possibility? And she's like, sure.
I was like, absolutely. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah. So I reached out to Mary and kind of just all snowballed and worked out in our favor. Because she was like, yeah, if there's something comes up. And then I put her in contact with Christie, and then she looked at her artwork and she was like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it all
it all goes together so well. I think it's so cool. They formally look quite different, your works, but you can totally tell the themes, the movement, like you said, of the water, even though, again, they're formally very different looking, they totally complement each other, which I thought was one really cool thing about this show. And Christie, when you said you both did the artist residency at ComSet.
Yes.
So are the ones that are out there that are the ComSet in color, those are the ones you made during that residency?
Yes. And that series was like born at that residency from just like a random test one day of, I love the water. Anytime I can also be in the water is wonderful. So my residency was August and September, and I would go down to the beach there constantly. And one day I just brought the paper in with me while I was like in the water and immediately brought it up onto the beach and started to paint with it. And it just was, because it was like the wet on wet watercolor with my natural materials reacting to the salt, and then sand was getting on the paper, and it was a really hot day. So it was drying in like different time rates than I would be used to in the studio. It just was this kind of like magical experimentation, and the large scale work that's here is definitely a majority of what I created during that residency.
Very cool. And Kathleen, can I ask what you're working on during your residency?
Yeah. So like when I submitted my proposal for there, so again, I live in Long Beach, so the water on the South Shore is a lot different than the water on the North Shore. It's like a lot calmer on the North Shore. So, cause it's, the Long Island Sound, the Bay. So you don't have those, crazy tides and waves. So I wanted to like focus on the textures and the way that the water moves compared to the South Shore. So unfortunately, when I started it, I had a drawing that I was not done with, so I needed to finish it first from like Long Beach. But it's a nice little contrast because now I've finally finished that drawing. Now I'm trying to change it up, doing a watercolor. And I forgot how long that takes. Well, I also take like 1 million hours to finish anything. So, but yeah, so I'm working on a watercolor of just kind of like almost like a little baby wave crashing. But it's also like the colors, because I usually work in black and white now, but I do love colors. So it's a nice contrast between like the sun, because it was also during the daytime. So the sun reflecting off the water, but you have that dark tones of the water. So it's like a nice, beautiful contrast that is a nice relationship. So trying to kind of figure out how to do that. But that's what I'm working on now. And then I have a drawing ready to go next. So hopefully I get that done.
I'm sure this will happen with you, but like I was just sharing that series was like started there. I've now continued to work on that series post residency. So it was like you might not create everything during that time that you're there, but that inspiration will trickle out continuously into your work. So I'm sure photographs and experiences you're going to draw on like in the near future.
I have so many photographs. Yeah. I have so many like sunset stuff and like, I'm like, wow, the colors. And it's also like close up. So you don't really know if it's like water or not. It's just like a bunch of movement that you're like, cool. Mm-hmm. But once you take a step back, I think sometimes you're like, oh yeah, it's water. But it's meant for you to like kind of take a closer look and see like relationships that are happening between colors and the movement and the textures and the shapes and all that fun stuff. Those details that I try to take and, take advantage of and pay attention to, because also I kind of relate it to like the world. It's like nobody cares about anything anymore. Like everybody just kind of like, just like, everything just kind of like drops everything at a second, moves on to the next big thing. Mm-hmm. It's just like stop, take a second to look at it. And the point of my artwork is just for you to stop and take a look at it. Like put your phone down and just look at it. And Christie will know that
she hates phones in class.
Just put the damn phone down.
Yeah. It's banned. Yeah. You get it taken away.
Like I get it, but there's more to life than just what's on your screen. Just look at what's in front of you. So it's all my stuff is all about just like taking the time, creating your own experience within the piece itself instead of just being like, oh, that's nice and move on to the next one. Yeah. There's a reason why there's so many details and so many different like shapes and forms and darks and lights and everything. Yeah. So
no, it totally invites you in. I had the opposite experience with it, I guess. We're from far away, especially this one that's at the end of the gallery. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a crashing wave. And then when I got closer and started looking at all those details, I was like, is it? Because there's like so many like sharp lines and shading. Like when you get into those details, it almost looks crystallized or something. Really cool. Yeah.
Thanks.
So yeah. And then Christie, for you, we talked about your artist residency was where you were getting started with these concept and color ones.
There's a variety of work of mine in the show. So there's the works that are hanging on the wall that are from that residency, but then there's sculpture and ceramics. And so I was also making these things kind of in tandem at the same time. I'm someone who works in multiple mediums and is always trying to like find my voice in a different medium and how I can kind of bring that viewpoint into that. And so there's a sculpture that features all recycled oysters from local restaurants that I've then cast into a plant-based resin in a movement of kind of like a wave that's freestanding. And that I just love the textures and tones of oysters, and they are very central to my practice. So then there are also ceramic oysters and clams that I've sculpted as well in the show, and a abstract wave where if you look into the center of that ceramic piece, there's a glaze that I use that almost emulates microplastics. And so that is just like a hidden, if you're really looking in, then you're going to find kind of that nod to a lot of my work, which centers around climate change and pollution and corporations and the impact on the natural ecosystem. And so there's like that kind of woven through each work that I have here. And I, meditate a lot while I work, when I'm sculpting or when I'm painting. And so a lot of those thoughts are usually about like the state of the world and what do we care about if we still care about things. And I'm like, maybe my work can cause you to pause and make you take notice of something that you would have walked right past on the beach, an oyster shell, and you realize like, oh, wow, this is so beautiful, and realize, oh my gosh, people are eating oysters out here on the North Fork, and then where do they go after we eat them? And how can we honor the farmers who are like hardworking and after this winter went through like so much work to keep these oysters growing, and it's so important to clean our waters. And so it's this like kind of cyclical experience where I'm trying to take this thing that would normally be waste and elevate it in a way that people can appreciate it and have discussions like this about it. So that was like the center of most of the work that's in here.
Yeah. And I think the part of it where it's almost like you're creating the works in collaboration with nature.
Yes.
You're like inviting nature in. And I think you did it with some of your sculptures, right?
Yes,
too?
Absolutely. Yeah. So a lot of the work that I've currently been working on is just I sculpt and then I let it be, and it's outside in materials. And what I just made, I actually saw it this morning. I'm like, wow, it rusted so much over the last rains. And then these little leaves fell on it and got stuck to it. And when I pulled the leaf off, it made this crazy texture and like
that's so
pattern.
Fun.
And so it's like, I feel like where Kat's like skill is in that like super fine detail and like hours and hours of being like with one piece, and you get so many different facets when you're up close to it. My thing is I'm like, I'll spend hours and hours letting nature be with this piece, and like it changes me as an artist and it gives me a different insight. And then I try to take that and maybe replicate what nature has done in another work. And it's just kind of this like ongoing conversation with the environment that I have in my work.
Yeah.
One thing about Christie is if you see some trash on the side of the road, like gas cans or like anything, she's like, you need to take them.
Yes.
Thank you
so much.
But she like upcycles them and just like creates artwork out of them. And it becomes like beautiful sculptures. And you're just like, how did you do that? It's wild.
And then my poor neighbors. So as of right now, they're if you drive past my house, it looks a little junkyard, but after this weekend, it will be clean and pristine. But, that's part of the process. But I now have like, because I work with gas cans as like a imagery in a lot of my work and plastics, people also kind of connect me with that concept. And now I've had friends be like, I was driving and I pulled over and I found this gas can for you. Do you want it? And I'm like, yes.
Always, yes.
But it's like really interesting to now I had this weird kind of thought and obsession about fossil fuels and made one piece, and it's turned into this full collection, and now it's activating people to stop and take notice and see these items in their natural landscape.
And pick them up which is huge.
And then give them to me for me to make more with. So it's just like, that's kind of the same thing with the oysters. Now it's happening with this trash thing. So yes, I might be the trash girl, but
you're making beautiful things from it.
Right,
so
exactly.
it's perfect. It's all productive.
Yeah, but Kat heard me a lot in class be like, I found this cool plastic piece on the way to your class. She's like, whatever. And my final project was like, I drew all the pieces that I found over the semester. And I was like, see?
Highly happy about it.
Yes.
Very acceptable.
I love that. Love that. Well, it's so nice because like you were both talking about like being more present in the moment and trying to like encourage people to do that. And yeah, it just like all ties together with that, like noticing what's going on in our surroundings and like giving a darn, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Less specifically about the show, as artists, what do you find most challenging when you are creating your art or when you're sharing your art with others?
I think sharing, creating, I can just create all day. I can also lose my mind creating it. Cause again, when I'm stuck in it for like 12 hours straight, I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing?
You get into that flow state. Like,
yeah.
Really?
And then I'm like, I got to take a walk. That happened to me yesterday. I was like, I'm gonna die. But I think like once you finish a piece, you're like, you spent so much time on it. You're so excited. And then you like, also like just, if whatever platforms there are, you know, Instagram, I don't even know what other platforms there are now. Like, you
TikTok.
Yeah, I know. That's a love-hate. It's like a full-time job for like sharing and being kind of present. So people are constantly seeing it. But I feel like I don't have as big of a viewership, I guess. So it's always harder. It's always trying to push to do the most and like just apply to shows or just to get it out there. I think that's just one of the harder parts. Because once again, just like so many other things in life, you know, you make a piece and then you just on to the next one. So it's hard for a piece to get the attention and time it deserves.
Mine's the opposite. So I love to like exhibit. I love to share. I love to apply for these calls. Like I spent this whole week being like, okay, this is going to this show. This is going to that show. I'm going to install this today. Like I really like getting it out of my space because then I can create more. So my issue is like space between shows, before it's maybe collected, before I'm done with it, like I call it the shuffle. And I feel like artists are constantly just moving one thing from one space to the next. 100%. And it's just a constant movement. And sometimes it's really like in that flow state, like, oh, this is going to go immediately to that show. That happened to me this week, and I didn't have to unpack a whole installation. It was wonderful. But then some of it's like, where am I putting this 6+ foot sculpture right now? Like, where does this go? Which is why, you know, I've embraced the nature. And so a lot of my stuff can now somewhat be outside because I need that space. And I'm also collecting all the trash that we've talked about. So, you know, I'm just kind of overflowing. And maybe one day I'll have like a hub for all of this stuff. But in the meantime, between, you know, campus and home studio and exhibitions, it's just like trying to keep track of where everything is, where it's going. That's probably the hardest for me.
So what do you find most inspiring or energizing when you're embarking on a new project? What really like gets you excited about when you're creating something new? Is it just that getting into that creative process? Or?
Yeah, mine's like sad. I'm like, when there's like a hurricane coming, I'm like, there's going to be great waves.
That's amazing.
It's awful because I also like live in Long Beach. Yeah. So like, I'm almost like, oh, is this going to ruin everything?
You're the one person excited you're there.
But I'm like, I cannot wait for the waves. Because it's also interesting when either a hurricane is coming or just passing, the waves are wild. That means everybody comes out. Because everybody's surfing. Whatever hurricane was happening last summer was passing through, the entire town came out, and there's millions of photographers like photographing them. And this one guy looks at me, he's like, the surfers are over there. And I was like, I don't care about the surfers. I'm looking at the water. And he was like, okay, you're weird.
I'm documenting.
Yeah.
This will become art later.
Yeah.
There's a reason behind this.
Exactly. But then when I get like that one like money shot of just like the way that the wave is like crashing in a way that I haven't found it before, that's what like kind of really gets so excited. Because sometimes I'm like, I got nothing good. I'll go through my whole like archive of photos. I'm like, this is all sucks. I was like, what was I thinking when I was taking these? But once I like print out a picture and then I start like going, I'm like, and I'll like get a new piece of paper and like a new set of pencils.
Oh, she loves her paper and pencils.
I know. I'm like, I'm so excited.
No, getting to work with like the shiny new pencils.
And I'll like start a new podcast or like a book or like even a show. I'm like, yes, we're in it. We're locked in. And then, once you get into that flow state, I'm like, all right, well, it's just all bets are off now. It's just we're in it.
For hours and hours.
Yeah. Because you get lost in it. You get like lost in the waves for the most part. So it's nice.
My inspiration's very random. It could be a trash thing that someone gave me that happened this week and I was very excited. Or my sister-in-law found these incredible planks of driftwood that became like the base for one of my installations recently, where I was looking for something to ground a variety of pieces. And it just was like, that's the thing. So it could be external or it could be like an internal thing where I'm just like, working through something with my mental health or my physical health. And I like get past that and I am creating and I'm like, this is why I do what I do, is because it's like this whole body experience. So it's been also like learning different mediums. So I just recently learned how to weld and I love it. And it's so cool. But like taking my concepts that were a painting and then making it into a 3-dimensional idea with something like metal is just so inspiring to me at the moment right now, because I'm like, oh, I can see this like also growing into a series of taking my paintings and making them outdoor sculptures. So it's like, once I get this like little glimmer of an idea, I always try to see how far I can push that concept. So I work in similar themes, the oysters, kelp, gas cans, and like these abstract works that I do. And I'm like, okay, let me take this medium and now let me see, does it work for ceramics? Does it work for metal? Does it work for that? And it's like that journey and learning of always kind of putting myself in the beginner seat, that kind of just continues to inspire me and make me look at my work in different ways.
The last bit is just like kind of wrapping up the episode, I guess, which is, where can listeners find you, find your work?
You can find me on Instagram. I need more followers. At Cat Fight Press. So CATFIGHT. Because I'm also a printmaker. I forgot to say that before. And then my website, CathleenFicht.com.
My Instagram is Christie Jones Studio. My website is the same thing. You could send me an email as well. And then I also have a variety of shows coming up this summer. So all of that's on my website and Instagram as well.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for coming in today. This was such a great conversation.
Yeah, it was fun.
Really fun. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us today on For Your Information, the Cutchogue New Suffolk Free Library podcast. I hope you tune in again soon, and I hope you learned something new. For Your Information is a production of the Cutchogue New Suffolk Free Library. Our intro and outro music is Lavender Sky by Kaizan Blue. I'm your host, producer, editor, and emerging technologies librarian, Emma Layden. We'll catch you next time. Until then, stay open to new ideas.